Donald Trump just took the world by surprise. In addition to the recent release of a new XRP rich list, the US government has released the Kraken. Where on the rich list are you? Greetings, lovely people. Goodbye, earners. We will discuss the cryptocurrency market, Bitcoin, and XRP. All I ask of you, as always, is that you smile lovely at me to spread love and happiness. Let's get started because Sunday likes are free. Smash that like button. As a result, XRP is up 5.7% from the day before yesterday to $2.92 at the moment. XRP retreated. Today, XRP is showing a fairly good recovery. Well, don't get too crazy, similarly to yesterday when I wasn't freaking out. Today, I'm not going to jump for joy, well, because the market occasionally responds like this. Sometimes, we move in this manner. However, I am unsure of the market's future course. I will never advise you to buy, sell, or hold, as I always do. Obviously, not financial guidance. Prior to making an investment, always conduct your own due diligence. Trump could say something. I guess there is something the market can do. With the release of the PMI data and the ISM manufacturing data on Tuesday, we're in for a big week. We saw that the markets actually fell when there was no auction for the 10-year note on Wednesday, right? Recall the events of a few weeks ago. 5 speakers were claimed this week by the original job list. You know, 20% of the S&P 500 businesses are releasing their profits this week, which could cause a market meltdown. Despite the fact that this isn't a Fed, CPI, or similar week, the allos, big money, and traders will be keeping an eye on certain items. What I'm doing with my hands is unknown to me. It seems like some dinosaurs, don't you think? This week might be one where people are taking it easy, but it might also be a really exciting one. As usual, it's crucial to occasionally remember where we've been before moving forward. Flashback on August 6th, a few days ago 2017, Bitcoin was worth $300 and Ethereum was worth $161. Third place went to XRP. So, nothing has changed. Is that correct? The top 3 are still in place. After that, everything changed, isn't it? Accordingly, Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash were at 45. Litecoin has been rising ever since, but it has only increased by 2 times. At 545, Bitcoin Cash is still ranked 15th. I take it that it's up. Did it reach to 120? However, it isn't the case. If you look at it, you'll see that I was actually performing the calculations earlier. XRP has increased 16 times since then. Correct. Not bad, but we would like more, you know? Ethereum is up just 14 times, whereas Bitcoin is actually up 35 times. Well, with everything, isn't it? All things considered, XRP has outperformed Ethereum. In terms of performance since 2016, 2017 as well. Wild, it's crazy. Well, but you're capable of doing the maths. Yes, I did them. That was Ethereum, followed by Bitcoin, and this was XRP, as you can see. Very, very intriguing, then. Sometimes, when we zoom out, right, we'll say, when in doubt, zoom out. If you zoom out here, the top 3 have done very, very nice right. Naturally, Bitcoin has performed far better than the other 2. However, it's possible that this is the way the cycles or the cryptocurrency market operate occasionally. Ethereum should catch up with XRP. Once more, though, nothing is certain, and this is all conjecture. We are unsure, all right. It is crucial to keep in mind that, according to what President Trump just said, if we're going forward, we're looking back, right? Are we looking forward now? Bitcoin has become great, according to President Trump. Let's listen to that. And I was investing in Bitcoin at the time, unsure if I would do it again. I mean, it's become incredible. I'm referring to the jobs it creates. You pay in Bitcoin more and more, I've seen. People argue that it removes a lot of pressure from the dollar, and it's very beneficial for our nation. So, I'm not interested in investing. You see, I have my children make investments in various ventures. Although I am president and have built a significant enterprise there, they do believe in it. Additionally, if we didn't have China, you're familiar with President Trump, right? He's not a young man. Sometimes, I believe, he makes mistakes. Now, what is his age? 7.9. All right. I take it that he's on the border. When he talks about the cryptocurrency market and Bitcoin, I believe he sometimes confuses the two and conflates them in his mind because I believe he is referring to the industry here. You know, Bitcoin lessens the pressure on the dollar, he added. The coins are more stable. That's what he was talking about, I believe. However, it's still significant that the president is acting in this way, saying this and dropping this report a few days ago, right? A few days ago, Bo said something that we should listen to. Greater than okay, Bo, you have some exciting news for us this morning, then tell us what the plan is. Greater than yes, well, let me start by expressing my gratitude to President Trump and our talented AI and cryptos are 𝗙𝗵 for their tireless efforts on this report and for genuinely doing everything in their power to support this sector. This is an industry that's been beaten down and kicked down over the course of the last decade and a half, more specifically under the Biden regime. All the blue tape that they had to fight through the headwinds that they were pushing through just to innovate here in the United States is quite remarkable. You know, the president created this working group on digital assets in which I'm the executive director, and he tasked us with working across relevant agencies to produce a list of comprehensive regulations and reforms and recommendations that would create a clean and robust framework. So, industry knows what the rules of the road are. You know, this is no longer policymaking through prosecution. We're creating an environment that will allow for these innovators to thrive and build. Here in the United States, greater than so, can you give us more specifics about what this is going to look like and what these recommendations are? Greater than yes, you know, we've looked at this in really 3 phases. We've had the demolition phase, removing a lot of the blue tape that existed, eradicating Operation Choke Point 2.0, which was a real thing under the Biden regime. What this was basically for your viewers was an attempt to prevent digital asset firms from interacting with traditional financial institutional players. And so, what we've done is we've removed a lot of that blue tape that existed there, those overburdensome regulations. Then we work on construction, which construction here is a stablecoin framework, which we've actually had signed into law in this past week with the Genius Act. You know, this is basically a digital dollar. It updates the archaic payment rails within our system. It creates more expeditious and transparent more cost-effective transactions for the American people, and it also secures US dollar global dominance for decades to come. But the other piece of legislation that we still have to work on is market structure, and we have clarity coming out of the House. You know, both of these bills received immense bipartisan support. So what you'll see in this report is we talked about the bones of market structure. Everything that they got right and clarity, what we'd like to see the Senate chamber do and adopt as they push the second piece forward on the legislative agenda. And then we look at implementation. We're talking about tax reforms. In this report, we're talking about how we protect consumers in this report. You know, this is over 160-page document. It's quite robust, but you know, we're really excited about it. And I just want to thank all the participants of the working group that contributed to this. Paul Atkins at the SEC, Secretary Besson, Secretary Lutnick, and numerous others have made significant contributions to the advancement of this sector and ensuring that the U.S. leads the world in digital asset financial technology. You said a lot, I see. I have it on 1.5, so I believe I did. It seemed a bit too quick, don't you think? Well, it's all right because anyone who was already watching had to slow it down. At 1.5, I occasionally